I came into this world high as a bird from second-hand cocaine powder. I know it sounds absurd. I never toot it, but it's in my vein. And they bungee off bridges without no snapback, and bitches, they say they need that to shake their fanny in the ass club. They go their route, turn each other out, burn each other out. Where a bona fide nigga like me can't even get no back rub these days. Ain't that bleak on their part? Let me hold it down, shut you down when you speak from your heart. Now that's hard. While we ranting and raving about gats, nigga, they made them gats. They got some shit that'll blow out our back from where they stay at. All right, with the mess up, don't quote me.
That's fire.
Don't quote me, episode 407. We in here now again.
I was about to say, man, we've been putting in work.
we in the 50s right now. We almost to 60. Yeah. Before we do another episode without introing everybody at the beginning, you know what I'm saying? To the right of me, I got my boy holding down Brooklyn, June Peas.
Back outside, you know.
Well, you Brooklyn Gwinnett, like we got Fayetteville Bronx and Brooklyn Gwinnett. You know what I'm saying?
It's okay
Brooklyn,
to rap both,
Atlanta.
man.
Yeah, it's all right.
Word. In the corner, as always, we got my man PC, P to the third letter, holding it down for all the young rappers, not the old ones. You know what I'm saying?
YN's
And he's really Jersey, Atlanta too.
I know, right?
We'll start hyphenating y'all niggas too.
really big hybrids. 10 joints.
Word.
Next to him, we got Mr. Ebonics Espanol himself, Black Puerto Rican, North Carolina Bronx. You know what I'm saying?
Reppin',
Rain
yeah.
910.
Yeah.
Yo, and I don't do this very often, but go check out his new single with Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying?
Often, out there, everywhere.
And so shout out to our boy, the last MJ. He's not here this week, but in his stead, we got my man, the infamous, you know what I'm saying, the almighty Anon the Griot. Not only are you a host of some of the illest rap events, MC-esque events in the city.
Soul Food Cypher stand up.
Right. You are also an educator.
Absolutely, 15 years in the game at this point.
You know what I'm saying? And the illest thing about our podcast and what your expertise in teaching is well-seasoned English teacher.
Absolutely. 13
You know
years
saying?
as an English teacher, incorporating hip-hop in my curriculum for a while, curriculum development with SFC, and I was breaking the rules in the school before they knew what I was doing. Yeah. I was killing them lesson plans.
And also another feather in your cap that
That's
I know
dope.
y'all don't know is when I did the Church's Chicken commercial, they flew us back out to Dallas to do a conference. And Anon actually hosted the conference.
Right.
So his job was like to freestyle and get the crowd
Was that
hyped.
the Cowboy Conference?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
At 9 in the morning.
Yo, that's
At 9 in the
Did you have a
morning.
cowboy hat on?
Yeah, I was to the T. I had everything.
Did you have the Spurs?
I didn't have Spurs, but I had boots. I had tassels on my shirt and everything. Yo, the funniest thing about that weekend is another company that made like beanbag chairs, right? They happened to like be at the same hotel and have their own party the same day. So we at the Church's Chicken party, we hear mad loud music, and we see mad people running out of our party to go to the other one. They're like, yo, they booked Flow Rider for this party. So we're like, oh, we out. Mad free food, mad free drinks. We was lit all weekend. You know what I'm saying?
The wildest part is, because I'm not a Flow Rider fan, he got joints.
Oh, yeah.
Like Flow Rider
lit.
has like
Yeah.
1 million songs because he was performing while we were out there. Then we snuck in and we joined, had our time, free drinks and all of that, and he kept going.
He's been around for a while too.
And he got
His
a
career is
bag
crazy.
too. He won like a lawsuit for like 80 mil. So.
Right. Was that
Celsius.
Celsius?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, so question for y'all. If we do a top 50 artist list anytime down the road, could you consider Flow Rider and or Pitbull for that list?
I will have to listen to that music because I'm not gonna put. I don't care just because you're popping. I gotta go listen to your shit. I'm not gonna just throw you in there just because
If you count sales.
I mean, if you count sales,
But if you count sales, you take all the artistry out.
Then we don't
anyway.
need what we debating for. Just go look at the chart.
Right.
And put MC Ham
I
on
mean,
there.
remember,
And Vanilla Ice.
No Limit
Put
Vanilla
some
Ice.
for
Vanilla
2-3
Ice
years.
in
No Limit sold millions upon millions. So you're gonna add Silk the Shocker to that list?
You know what?
Mr. Servon?
I think it would be interesting if we found the top 50.
Man, I really like that Mr. Servon album.
I like Fiend more so than Mr.
I
Servon.
like the Fiend album too.
But yo, before we get into this week's episode, me and Rain had the pleasure of going to Clark Atlanta University today, along with Anon, and very historic HBCU in the AUC. So you got Morehouse, Spelman, Clark Atlanta, all basically on the same campus, right? And the teacher of the hip hop evolution class, Joe Stu, had us on there today. We got a chance to teach the kids about our top 50 MCs list, and soon they'll be bringing us back to do a live podcast on the campus. So before we really get started, get into the episode, I just want to bring Joe Stu on just to talk a little bit about the class and you know, how the students felt about the list.
Here we go. Here we go. How you feeling?
Peace. I'm good. Thanks for
Professor
having me.
Stewart.
Thanks for having me. So Hip Hop Evolution class is a class that focuses on the entire culture of hip hop. So we're not just covering MCing, we're covering DJing, breaking, graffiti, fashion, any of the elements that fall under hip hop's umbrella. So a lot of students, when they come in, they're familiar with rap because that's the most popular form or popular element of hip hop. But when we take them down the road of the origins of hip hop and all of these different elements, a lot of their minds are sparked because they're not realizing, oh, there's a whole cultural element to that. And I think that's really important, especially nowadays where we've kind of separated everything into its own different market. Mm-hmm. So it's been a very good class. It's been eye-opening for students, and it's been a great experience having you guys on the in the class, and they got a chance to kind of, you know, go back and forth to see what was your reasoning for not having certain MCs on the list. Right. And I know we talked about a few. I think some of the MCs that they mentioned. We mentioned Tyler. Tyler wasn't on the list. They had some issue with that. We mentioned there weren't many women on the list, and I know you know we all have our criteria, but you know some people were surprised Miss Hill wasn't on the list. We
Missy,
didn't have.
They mentioned Missy.
Missy wasn't on the list. Busta.
Busta was on the list.
Busta was on the list, but he didn't make the top 10.
Right.
Nah.
There were certain people.
There was
some people in there who felt like he should have been in the top 10.
Yeah, it was
a girl who felt like Tyler should have been in the top 10.
Tyler?
She ain't even understand that.
She's like 21, right? Something like that.
She's in the 20s.
She's in the 20s.
She was in the
Yeah.
20s.
Sure, yeah. Shout out to her.
Shout out to the youth.
Shout out to the youth. But I think it was a great way for, not only that, speaking of youth, I think it was a great way to like bridge the gap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because of course, with all of us here, we've seen hip hop develop. You know, they came into the world where hip hop was already fully formed. So a lot of us, you know, we had the unfair, I won't say unfair, but we had an advantage where we grew up with this thing. We seen it. We were talking offline about certain early albums and how we saw MCs develop, where a lot of my students, they came into this thinking that this is how it always was.
Right.
And that's really good because we get to open their eyes and kind of, you know, pull back the veil a little bit, but also it gives them a chance to understand how important this culture is and how many doors it broke down.
How long have you been teaching that class?
This is my 4th year teaching the class.
So this is something I learned while being there. I realized that we think because we don't talk to the kids a lot that their opinion on music is so much different than ours, and it's not.
Yeah.
Like they was on some hip hop shit. Like they understood it.
My son 14 and he be on this hip hop stuff.
Right, and it's like they might have a different opinion on who, but not they understand the criteria.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, nah, he's nice or he's not really nice,
yeah.
but I like him better. Like they get it. And I was thinking, like I was wondering, like walking in there, like what am I walking into? Yeah. But nah, they was hip hop.
Yeah, and it was good also to see just sort of them exercise some of those opinions out there because now they're getting hip hop from all different places. A lot of my students, they don't listen to the radio, all right? Mm-hmm. They don't own music, right? They don't have vinyl, they don't have CDs, they don't have tapes. So most of their input from music comes from social media or maybe a reference. So that's another thing to take into consideration with how we're taking in hip hop as opposed to how they're taking in hip hop.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we grew up going to the record store
To buy the CD.
to buy the,
the
oh
CD,
yo, the
yeah.
Buster
Yeah,
coming
the
out.
tape,
Let me
yeah.
go there. Oh yo, you got a new mixtape out. Let me get that. And now they're dependent on the algorithm to tell them what's hot. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that's a little bit, different from our generation to the generation that I'm teaching at Clark is there's no gatekeeper.
Yeah.
The gatekeeper is automated. So
Right.
you gotta go with what you
remember,
get.
remember me and you was having this conversation about like a certain shit. We got to be careful what we champion online. We got to be careful what narratives we're pushing because this is how they get the music. It's not just
Right.
your opinion at that point.
It's just how they get the music.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
not just
it's
your
crazy.
opinion. It's like, yo, this is how they get introduced to it. And if you be like, yo, so and so's the greatest, then this their first time hearing about this person,
And now
and they
got-
trust your word. You know what I'm
we
saying?
tell them
And I hope
what's
that
hot.
happened too. Like watching our pod, you know what I'm saying? I hope people have seen the top 50 that probably like not even fans of like real hip hop and they've seen it. They're like, yo, who's this? Who's that?
Right.
They
Yeah, let me
do
go
their
check
own
this out.
research. And that's what I did at a point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I was
Yeah.
growing up. You know
One
what
of
I'm
the
saying?
coldest parts was a young lady student who was adamant about Rakim being on the list.
Yeah, and that was a
Adamant
surprise.
about it being
Word.
number
Bro,
one.
she was-
That was taking
she didn't
everybody to
understand that
task
shit.
over that.
Yeah.
She's like, and was clear. Like, I wasn't there when he came out, and I know.
Even I know.
Some young people take the time to do their history though.
How
They
old?
do.
How
They
old
sit
was
down and
she?
they break
How
it
old
down.
is she? She's like 22.
She's 22.
Yeah,
Well, she was
22.
young.
They'll go back on the whole
She was
time.
like, yo, he's
like,
the
nah,
best.
hold on, this guy right here.
Like,
He's
why is he
first,
not number
and
one?
He did this. You feel me? So I respect that. That she did her homework.
And of course, we're doing a lot of research in there, so they're coming from hip hop from a different angle of from the academic realm. But I think platforms like this are important because, again, I grew up on Stretch and Bobbito. This is the new Stretch and Bobbito in
Right.
the sense where now they're getting that information the same way I was getting that information. Now, of course, I had to search and wait till 2 o'clock in the morning and have my my tape deck
be
ready
like
in order
this.
for me. Yeah, and then get the right
Stretching
tuning.
Bobbito is so hard to get that station.
Yeah.
Because it was like a college station. It was like you had to be like fine tune that shit. What?
I raise you one. Do that in Arkansas.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that-
Do that in Helena, Arkansas.
Yeah, that's
in
tough.
the 80s. Do
Yeah.
that.
That
I
is tough.
loved this art the moment I heard it. I had to fight to listen to it. I had to seek it out an hour a week, whatever it was. My big cousin beat me up because I was playing his tapes. Had his Slick Rick, had his Rakim,
That's
had
right.
his Ghetto Boys because, his dad paid child support. So
Yeah.
get some of those.
You get a little bit.
But that was it. There was no bodegas for me to run to. There was no park jams going on. No nothing like that. And I'm in the country. We got blues and we got gospel. So I ain't even supposed to be listening to this mess.
That's right.
All this heathen
Man,
music. So,
imagine that.
So it's one
Imagine
thing.
not having access to hip hop.
At all.
Exactly.
Except
Hip hop
for
for me was around the block. It was on the corner.
It was everywhere.
Right. You
It
go
was
down the street.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Any students in your class, do they rhyme or not?
So not in this class particularly, but pretty much all of my classes I've had an artist. I've had an
Gotcha.
artist who's releasing music, who's putting out music.
Okay.
We usually do for midterm we'll do like a verse like that you got to write on the spot.
Got
But it's
it.
about a specific topic.
Got it.
And then I do that because I have MCs in my class. So if I tell you go home and then write a verse, it's just not going to hit the same.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what
The
I mean?
girl,
And-
she was in your class? Like she was in part of the class? The
Which
girl
one?
that had the poetry?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was shout out to London Bridges from SFC. She's
Yes.
an SFC member.
Yo, she was ill.
Yeah,
Yeah, she did like it was like spoken word, but it was deep though.
yeah, yeah.
She's young. She's
she's
in her 20s too?
yeah, late 20s.
Late
but,
20s.
but nonetheless
Heavy though. Like the
yeah,
stuff she was saying was
the
heavy.
bars was heavy.
He was
The bars
like,
was
yo,
heavy.
this is crazy.
And the great thing about being on campus is you're in the epicenter of black culture. And one of the things, like myself, I'm a Clark alum. Anon is a Morehouse.
The house.
Yeah, and actually we met through rhyming on the promenade, like freestyle on the promenade. So the culture of it has changed in the sense where you're not going to see necessarily a cipher happening on the promenade campus, but you will see a lot of Instagram posts. You will see a lot of drops. You will see a lot of singles getting dropped and getting supported within the infrastructure and that strong microcosm of the college crowd. So it's there, but it's changed dramatically because, again, they have different platforms than we have. You know what I mean? imagine yourself at 16 with an iPhone. That could
Trouble.
have went a couple different ways.
You
But-
watching porn or watching hip hop.
or making plays.
Or it's like Garage Band.
Right.
Or you might have been, trapping out on GarageBand.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
There's a million things you can be doing.
Yeah.
16 with a phone.
Nothing else.
smartphone?
Not leaving the house.
not leaving the house, right? So it's different because that's something I had to really keep in mind as a professor. These students are getting hip hop in a different way that you have no idea about. You know what I mean? It'd be different if I was watching, Rap City on my phone,
Yeah, it'd be
and I had access to it at any time. We had to sit down at 4:30, make sure
Right.
you
Make sure
there.
you was at home.
You appreciate
Make sure
it
you was
more.
at home. You know what I'm saying? Just to get on point, just to have something to talk about the next day. So, it's different, but it's also good to see how this thing evolves.
Yo, I got a funny Rap City story, man. Because Rap City used to come on at 4 o'clock
on the dot.
on the dot,
Yep.
right? And my school bus was the last stop. So I always get in the house at 4:08. So I always missed the first two
beginning.
videos.
Yeah.
So when In the Club came out, everybody was like, yo, that In the Club, 50 got a new joint, the video. I'm like, yo, I keep coming home. It's like, that was In the Club by 50 Cent. You're like, oh. I missed that shit for like a week straight. Yo, the next day, I'm like, yo, I'm on the bus. I'm like, who's the first stop? I'm like, I'm getting off at this stop. Yo, somebody gotta let me in their crib to watch BET. I just gotta catch the beginning.
Yep.
And that's how I saw 50 video. I got off at my homeboy stop. Like, y'all gotta just get. I don't know how I'm getting home.
But to that end, like there's no video show.
There's
now.
no nothing.
Nah.
There's no
Even
video
that,
show.
it's no urgency to like how I'm saying. I had to.
You had to
I had
run
to
home.
see it. I had to see it
Because you
They
don't have
care.
to.
Somebody, they favorite rapper could drop a video right now. They not stopping to watch it. They'll catch it when they catch
Catch
it.
when they
Yeah,
Like,
word.
I saw a clip.
Or
And it's-
if they
It's too
catch
convenient
it,
now.
it's only the 30 or 45 seconds.
Right.
they
Yeah,
catch it.
the real shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
real.
just had a concert. We did a homecoming, and there was an artist that was performing, and they didn't know most of the song until that 30-second clip came up, and then they was like, "Oh,
I know you.
I know you now." You know what I mean? So
Sing
that's
that part
something-
over again.
Sing that one
Yeah, that's
part.
crazy.
Just that part.
That happened
You know
to
what I
me
mean?
in the club one time.
So you
One
might
of
have
them
a
songs.
jamming song, but they only know 30 seconds of it. So those are the ways that we kind of have to adjust our perspective in looking at this from a generational standpoint.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to coming to the class.
Yo, please, man, because
Real.
y'all got some people who got some questions about your list. But I mean, it's
I'm ready
also
for it.
Oh, Shorty on fire. She was from Jersey. She ain't trying to hear that shit. she know you from Jersey. And you had Rock Kev at 50.
he did kind of spot on.
She from Jersey. She's like,
ready.
nah, I'm from Jersey.
Yeah, she ready on that.
Nah,
But yeah, it was good stuff. It was good
But
stuff.
thanks for coming out, man.
Absolutely, man.
real,
Can't wait for y'all to get on campus and get face to face with these students so they can see how hip hop is developing on a consistent basis. So appreciate what all y'all doing right here.
And
man.
thank you for even
man.
having that
Absolutely,
class and
man.
teaching that class. Like, thank you for that. 'Cause, wow.
You already
That's
know.
so necessary.
All good.
All right, so we back. Anon, man.
Yeah.
So
And just for reference sake,
Yeah.
it's Anon the Griot.
so we can't.
It has to be the same way Tribe Called Quest, Pimp Named Slickback, Anon the Griot. Now, since we're familiars, you can refer to me as Anon, but people being
for the
introduced
audience,
to me,
because
right?
black
Anon.
people gonna shorten everything.
Exactly, but I want them to know what they're short.
They're gonna start calling you on after a while.
And I'll
you know
run
what
with
I'm
it
saying?
just so long as no, not on, not on.
Gree. Yo, that's my nigga Gree.
stabs people. I don't want to be on. That's right. Got stabbed. I don't want to be on.
Y'all wilding right now.
Over
being
Charlie.
But
Where's Charlie?
the funny thing about you is this, right? You've been my man for a minute, but I want to say something about you, sir.
All right.
You have had the most immaculate comments under all the MCs on our top 50 list. So to all y'all people leaving stupid ass comments out there, this is what happens if you leave great comments. You end up on the couch next to Rain in arguments with him. You know what
Mama, I
I'm saying?
made it. I want to thank my mama, my grandmama for turning the music off. No, appreciate that. All right, if I can say this right,
Yeah.
I'm an MC, I'm a nerd. And in the 90s, I had to have the same arguments with my mama, my family members that I had to argue with the teachers about the validity of hip hop, about the power of it. In 12th grade, we had to do this whole poetry unit, and essentially we had to find out about all of them, the wits, and they wanted to say things in a way that nobody had ever said it before. And I remember having an argument with my British lit teacher that that's what an MC was, because rappers wanted to say things in a way that nobody had said it before. I say all of that to say that if we're going to have a conversation about hip hop, I would prefer to bring that scholarly approach to it. I prefer to treat it like the literature that it is. And I mean, there's money to be made, there's capitalism to be made, there's swag and all of that. But if we're talking about the content, the craft, if we're talking about hip hop, then I feel like it deserves that same evaluation that I would with a Scorsese film, or with some Langston Hughes or Richard Wright or William Shakespeare. So yeah, and the conversation, I gotta say, the conversation was better than any hip hop conversation I have had with people before. And I think because we got at least y'all got a blend of like purists who actually care about it, but also people who are knowledgeable about it. And so when you can have that conversation, you can be objective in your subjectivity. But the majority of the time, it's a hype beast going in the moment, and we're definitely gonna talk about record sales, right? And then we take all of the art and the creativity out of it. The thing I like to say to my students is LeBron James a great basketball player because he's rich?
No.
And he's not a great basketball player because he's rich, right? He's a
rich.
great basketball player because he's a great basketball player. Whether you agree where he stands or not, right? He's a great basketball player because what he does on the court. So an MC is what they do with the pen, it's what they do in the booth, that analysis of it more so than the money that can be made out of it. Because Milli Vanilli, they sold a whole lot of records. You know what I'm saying? Vanilla Ice sold a whole lot of records. I think the Ninja Turtles had them on the soundtrack. So maybe the Ninja Turtles sold a whole lot of records rapping, but
Ninja
right. Ninja rap, I think it was called. But if that is where our evaluation ends, then we're not really talking about it. And I think it's even more relevant right now if we're talking about AI, if we're talking about the way hip hop is commodified. At some point in time, it might not belong to us if it's always up for sale. So even if our evaluation of our artists are based just upon money, then we're not talking about it. So we have to treat it like art. So Rembrandt and Thomas Kincaid. Thomas Kincaid is a print that you can get at Michael's or any of those places, right? And it do numbers. In all suburban homes, it do numbers. In all of the model houses and apartments and what have you, it do numbers. But who would say that a Renoir and a Thomas Kincaid are the same thing? But when we do that with hip hop, we water it down and we say, well, I mean, this is this.
We don't factor in the lighting on the rim, rim.
Exactly.
Rembrandt.
So
So I was happy.
That's the same thing with hip hop. It's like they leave out it's the detail. It is this, you gotta like put it under a microscope, because the detail is what makes it different.
I have a question for you.
Let's go.
As an English teacher, how many years have you been an
So I'm
English teacher?
15 years in education. I'm out of the classroom now, but still directly with the kids, but 13 years as an ELA teacher.
Okay. So with high-level MCs, when we talk about metaphor, simile, we're really talking about literary devices,
Absolutely.
right? So what I really want to give you, I want you to give a breakdown for an MC, for somebody who's trying to make their wordplay better. We always say metaphor, simile, double entendre. What other literary devices should we be talking about when we talk about the depth that someone goes to with their pen?
All right, here we go. You're going to give me nerd talking, right? So one of my favorite is allusion, not illusion. Illusion is what you see. Allusion, which is a reference to a famous person, place, thing, or idea. I like to consider the allusion the big brother and the big brother, the metaphor and simile, right? Because it's all comparative, right?
Like illusion, same.
Right, you allude to, right?
Okay, yeah.
Biblical allusions do it a lot, right? Come with me, Hail Mary, one quick seed, what do we have here now? Do you want to ride or die? La 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 la. So that allusion to the Virgin Mary, but then also that allusion to Christ, with Tupac being Machiavelli, that's heavy there, right? One of the simplest ones goes back to Ace Hood when he says, my Chevy's sitting too high, call it Wiz Khalifa, which is both a double entendre and an allusion, because my Chevy's sitting too high, call it Wiz Khalifa, because Wiz Khalifa is what? Incredibly tall, and he smokes a lot of trees, so he's always incredibly high. That's when you're getting more complicated, right? Because I am this, I am a beast, as Wayne would say, feed me rappers or feed me beats. That metaphor people hit, right? Or, I am like this, Those hit, but if you're talking about like really digging into it, I think the allusion is going to get you there. I think just the simplicity of alliteration gets you there. Like just their repeated consonant sound works a lot. They do it in advertising all of the time anyway. So Peter Piper picked a pepper and Rum Rock rhymes. Humpty Dumpty fell down. Says hard times, right? Just that Peter Piper picked peppers. Those P's, the way it pops, it sits in the brain. And so it's almost like a bit of a manipulation of the audience. You're bringing them in to what you're about to say just by doing that.
I want to shout out Sean Price on that too.
Sean P.
P's a poet, the poem please you. Power to the people, the pistol pop paralegals. P.
And I would quote Gift to Gab, A to Z, but I don't remember that joint like that. and Papoose' alphabetical slaughter. But like, I think that's a very heavy one. That alliteration, onomatopoeia is always used all of the time anyway. That's what our ad libs are.
Beat.
Yeah. Vroom. Shout out to Missy being on the list. I'm just playing. So I think that's amazing. And then just the wildest is not even necessarily a literary device. It's more like looking at the plot elements. If you were writing a short story, the exposition of it. Like a lot of MCs, a lot of rappers are gonna give you some bars, right? MCs are going to give you that story. They're going to give you the exposition. So they're going to set the scene. And from that scene, you're going to get, your rise in action. You're going to get your climax. You're going to get your fall in action. You're going to get your denouement or your resolution. If you're writing, I think you want to consider those things as well. What is the journey I'm taking them on? And that journey doesn't have to be an academic journey, right? If we pimping, right? Then it don't just start with you getting her and she bringing that money back. How did that cop go? How did you get her first? How did you convince her to be down with you? Right? Those details, really setting up that story, I think, is what engages the audience. And then finally, if I'm gonna say it, right? If you really want to do this, remember that hip hop is literature. So to be a rapper, you spit these bars. To be an MC, you have the ability to spit the bars and write the bars. But if you can go back and read your rhymes without the beat, without the production giving you all of this extra space, and just really look, and if the metaphor you're using, if the synecdoche you're using, now that's the heavy stuff, synecdoche and metonymy, that's AP level. That's AP level.
Isn't that somewhere in New York?
Schenectady.
Stupid. How about like entendres like Jay-Z though, like when he says like I Jack, I Rob,
So
how you feel about that?
Mr. Carter, that it was not an entendre. That's him just playing around. So the nerd definition of a double entendre is something that has two meanings, and generally one of the meanings is sexual. So him just playing with this syllable and this syllable and this syllable, that's not that. I mean, was it if we take Dice Raw from the Roots' first album, the freestyle, niggas need to play like J. Rue and come clean. Now, you might want to call that a double entendre, though it might be a pause double entendre as well, depending on how you listen to it.
Entendre is something sexual.
But yeah, but the meaning behind the entendre is sexual.
So when Jay-Z says Jackie Robinson, because I
dodged the pen.
touched base when I dodged the pen, is that what
Right.
it says?
No, I touched base, but I dodged the pen. Yeah.
So that's not.
That's not.
So some people try to say it's a quadruple entendre.
It's not,
That's
unless Jackie Robinson is fucking bases.
So hold
unless
on.
his bat is something else.
You missed the whole point where he said entendre by definition
It's
is something sexual.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Right.
So Nicki Minaj's name is a double entendre.
absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
Absolutely.
So that's interesting because the argument I have with a lot of people is I always tell them, yo, you're not creating a double entendre unless you're not doing it at a high level unless you can do it without using slang.
I think you're confusing entendre with a metaphor
Or just double meaning.
or
in
a
general.
All right.
simile.
Turn a phrase.
So, yeah.
And that's funny. I don't know if this even exists in like our literary analysis, but turn of phrase, I think, is one of the heavy things that we do just kind of culturally, even at home. You know, you turn the phrase around. So it's not that I did anything particularly out of the textbook, you know. But if your mama said, you know, I'm trying to go to the party, I'll party your ass, right? Right, just right.
Yeah,
Party your ass, right? Or the McDonald's money. It's not a literary device. It's a turn of phrase.
Right.
It's a cultural connectivity there. Being able to do that is another way to engage your audience. I think, you know, especially when we really think about hip hop and it being a culture and the various cultures we come from, when you bring that in with like real fidelity and real truth, that's when you actually, that's when it really lands, right? I didn't. Who was it? Black Rob said, "Get ready," and because I was born ready, and I was already on fish and spaghetti. G-Dep, my bad.
Yeah.
And I was already on fish and spaghetti.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know where you're from, but in Arkansas, fish and spaghetti is a thing.
It's a thing.
Like it's a real live thing. Fried catfish and spaghetti.
Yeah.
And so that isn't necessarily a great literary device that we're using, but its connection to the culture, it says something already just by that. Because truly, if you know, you know. When he say that, you know that y'all speaking the same language. He's speaking for you.
So I want to do an exercise, right?
All right.
So on this podcast, we have somebody named the Punchline Champion,
Okay.
AKA PC, right?
Okay.
PC, I want you to throw Anon some of your craziest bars, and I want you to tell us what literary device he's using.
All right.
Because you blew my mind with your actual textbook. That I don't know what a double entendre is. This is
Most
crazy.
people don't. I
You know
mean,
what I'm
think
saying?
about it. MCs have been calling similes metaphors for decades now.
I know similes use like or as.
Right, but
Yeah,
when you
right,
think
yeah.
about it, most people are like, yo, he got some crazy metaphors, and they're all similes.
And
But
word.
what if they have a double or triple meaning? That what is just a layered metaphor or a layered simile?
Extended metaphor, extended simile, yeah.
So P, man, come on, man.
You know, first one come to mind is the one everybody always talks about. It's the big gun clip about as long as the Pledge of Allegiance. The irony, I gotta stand for it.
You got both a simile and an allusion in there.
Because the simile is
It's like, run it back one more time for me.
Big gun clip about as long as the Pledge of Allegiance.
So about
the
as
irony,
long as the Pledge of Allegiance.
The
you got-
irony, I gotta stand for it.
The irony, I got to stand for it, right? So Pledge of Allegiance, right? What do? I stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, right? That's an allusion. I got to understand what the Pledge of Allegiance means in order for me to get that line, right? And then for me as an audience member to get why I got to stand for it, to know why that's really hitting.
So, what should, as a fan reacting, you should say that blank was dope. How do we describe
it's
it?
still a punchline.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Okay.
still a punchline.
Like I was trying to explain that before. Like a punchline is not just using. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like using like or as. It's not just a
Yeah,
punchline. A punchline could just be something clever you said.
Because
To
comedians
summarize
have
Right,
punchlines.
Right, when
Yes.
comedians do it, it's not
Yeah.
like a entendre, metaphor, or
Yeah,
simile.
yeah.
It's just like
It's
sometimes
it's
it's
where
a
the line punches.
Right, like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a punchline.
So yeah, that was a dope punchline, and if you wanted to get nerdy, like I like that. I like this. I like that simile. I like that allusion.
So is a punchline something that just leads up to something witty that draws a reaction from
Essentially, and
Okay.
I mean, if we're doing a punchline right, just like a comedian, you're feeding me, so you're walking me down, and then I hit the punchline. You know.
people? Got you.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Like when Biggie said on Niggas Bleed Just Like Us, he ended it off like the funny thing about it, through all the excitement, the range got told he double parked by a hydrant. That's the punch.
Word, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Yo, we really went to the next level of education on the pod.
And,
Nah,
and if we talk about the plot diagram for that, I mean, Niggas Bleed, I mean, that gives you everything. It gives you the exposition. It gives you the rise in action. You know what the conflict is. It gives you the climax. You get the rise, the falling action, and the denouement, the resolution. They parked by a hydrant. They got told.
I'm not gonna lie, I could talk to you all day.
PC about to start spitting
so-
intergalactic punchlines.
Hey, so
So
what's this thing I'm
I didn't lie.
This is how I made it through being a nerd, right? Like really digging into hip hop. And again, I didn't have it all at my disposal. So even in the 90s, I was in Albuquerque, right? So I had a whole bunch of West Coast. So when the sister in the class was talking about E40, like, I know the Hillside Hillbillies from the very first E40.
They gave it up before.
From the very first E40 and the Click album, right? So there are times where I was listening to like purely canonical hip hop. And then there were
Canonical,
other times,
what does that mean?
As it relates to the canon. So literature has a canon and things that fit.
Like the story
Like
arc.
the timeline, story arc.
So,
like in anime, whether like it's like a retcon or if it's canon.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
So you have that, but then you also have Brother Lynch Hung. And
What y'all know about Brother Lynch Hung?
Man, stop playing games with me. And then all of the Memphis, Player Fly, like all of that. So I didn't necessarily always get everything that was going to be high analytical for me because I was listening to what I had the ability to listen to. And mama wouldn't give me no money to listen to no records. So what the homies was listening to, I was listening to, but I found a way to even dissect that. You know what I mean? Like it just became a craft for me, and I didn't think it was going to lead to anything until I really had my first interview to become an educator. And I remember I'm in this interview, and I said, "Don't talk about hip hop. Don't talk about hip hop." Because I'm like, "You want this job? You ain't waiting tables no more. You want this job." And of course, my other brain didn't listen to that brain. Said something about hip hop. I was interviewing for.
In the back of your mind,
I was interviewing for a middle school position, and she stopped me and was like, "You know what? I think you'd be better for the high school." And it was because when I slipped that in and said that. And so that's, that's 15
dope.
years ago before we were doing DEI or doing SEL or trying to do culturally relevant. Like this was me. I was sneaking the medicine in the applesauce. But I was. But I had to be able to utilize allusion and then utilize hip hop to explain that to my students and to kind of just have my fun in the process at the same time.
So, I want to ask you before we go today. You had some questions for the pod.
Yes.
Look at him.
I mean,
just like a teacher.
Have you ever
Let me
read
pull out the rubric.
And when you're done, somebody says, "It's very Shakespearean." I got that today.
Because it was very Shakespearean.
You got it.
Titus Andronicus.
Yo, but you want to know the crazy? You want you want to know the crazy?
Shakespeare, man.
Yo, the craziest part of it. The craziest part of it. Rain is like. Rain is like, I made it. Carry them drugs in a dirty coochie. He was like, that was Shakespearean.
Because he said she didn't wash well. See what I'm saying? That was a double entendre right there.
Right.
Because it was dirty, she was dirty, it was a dirty living.
Word.
That was amazing right
So what if
there.
she had a well at her house and she didn't
She
wash
didn't
in
because
the
she
well?
didn't use it.
I said it. She ain't
that
wash well.
That would have been irony. To have a well and don't wash well.
I should have. Now I gotta tighten the rhyme up.
I know, right?
There you go, Mickey.
So wow. So what were some of the questions you had?
I got a gang of them right now. I know we ain't got a bunch of time, so I'm trying to figure out.
we chilling
what
there.
I referenced the golden era of hip hop, but I think we might all have a similar time. So let me ask instead, what is your golden year of hip hop?
1 year?
I got mine.
Yeah,
I know mine.
I know mine off rip.
I got two.
Nah, you cheating.
I got the right answer. And I got my personal favorite.
You cheating.
Yeah, you are cheating.
How am I cheating?
Because I got two now. Now I got two.
Nah, that makes. He said he got the correct answer.
All
And
right,
his
so
personal
what's the
favorite.
Now here comes the educator. Now the
correct
assignment
answer.
says year singular.
I got a quick
The correct answer is 94.
Okay,
That's the correct answer?
That's the correct answer. You could debate 94, 88, or 96. Right? My personal favorite is 04.
okay, 94.
2004?
04.
Your personal favorite is
My personal
04.
favorite is 04.
What the fuck came out in 2004?
What?
College Dropout.
College Dropout.
Black album.
Black, yeah. The Grind Date, De La Soul.
I just put you onto the grind.
Yep.
What?
And I was just bumping on the way here. Yeah.
Fire.
The grind date is crazy.
Mad shit. Then Mad Villain came out in 04.
I think Immortal Technique, the Revolutionary Volume
did.
2
Came out in 04.
in 2004.
I just remember that year.
You going
it
deep
was
in the
just going
back,
crazy.
I remember that year because I would sit up in my room and rap everything
And I think
out
Beg
loud.
for Mercy came out that year too.
Beg for Mercy was out that year. Like, 04 was just a great year.
04 was live. It was live.
I feel like it was like one of the last great years of hip hop. So that's why
I
it's
agree with
sentimental to me. You know what I'm saying?
I love
After that, it
99.
went to shit.
99.
You going 99?
I love 99.
To the
It's
2000s.
that Lifetimes of
I think
Sean Carter.
Did we get
Last
Slim
time Sean Carter,
Right.
Slim Shady LP,
Slim Shady LP.
Chronic 2001.
Country Grammar.
Yeah.
Nah, Country Grammar 2000.
Oh,
Yeah.
Y'all killing me with this Nelly.
That was, yo,
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus 99.
Nostradamus 99.
I love 99.
Flesh in My Flesh.
Blood in My Blood was 99.
Veni Vidi Vici? Was no Rule, whatever was 99.
One of them. He had an
Which
album.
one had was
on
Holla Holla? Which
That-
one was that?
336.
316,
316.
whatever.
I think that was 99.
I know your role and shut your mouth.
Yo,
Nah,
that's crazy.
You know where I'm going. 96, man.
96.
It was written Reasonable Doubt, Me Against the World,
All
and
Eyes
Machiavelli.
All
The
Eyes
Score.
on Me. Nah, it was All Eyes on
No,
Me.
All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli. The Score.
Muddy Waters.
Muddy Waters. Like, what?
Yo,
This
Pete-
is heavy.
Hell on
Hell on
Earth.
Earth.
Oh my God. Hold on.
What?
AT Aliens.
AT Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, PC about to say 2023.
UGK Riding Dirty. Fucking,
Hardcore. Lil' Kim.
nah, it's Riding Dirty.
Yeah, I know that. The Lil' Kim.
Oh, Lil Kim. Nah, that was 95.
That's 95? Okay. No. 95 was the Junior Mafia album.
Okay, you're right. Then that was like 97 then, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
could be
it was 96. Well, I don't know. Whatever.
But 96
Strong
was
was
loaded.
96.
Crazy. I ain't gonna
Strong
lie.
was
It
So,
was.
so
It was
what's the
written-
right answer?
He might got a point right
What's the
there.
right answer?
So here's a great thing about education, right?
No.
Sometimes you think you have the answer, and then the answer reveals itself. I would suggest that 92 is a strong candidate, not necessarily because of lyricism, but because of trajectory.
And
because
production.
Production, trajectory, and the door being open for hip-hop to actually become a culture, a craft, and a money maker. However, I can't argue with 96.
96 was
96.
96 was
fact.
diverse.
I think you took the
Running
cake
it
with
down
96.
now,
Right.
like on the list.
Like, really think of that, bro.
And
right.
because, I mean,
And we got like Nas, to me, my
It was
favorite
written.
Nas album. It was written. We
Okay.
got my favorite J album the same year.
Reasonable Doubt.
And like two Pac albums.
and we got
Tupac
Cats.
album.
We got
No,
Machiavelli
what was that? What was
and
that?
All
What was
Eyes
that?
on Me.
What was that? He said Tupac albums. What
That was
literary
it.
device is that?
That would be more of a pun.
Get it?
Because his
Two-
name is
Tupac.
exactly. Though that would suggest a double entendre,
Right.
because she had to get two Pacs
Right.
in order to have two
Right.
Pacs.
Yo, it blows my mind that a double entendre has to be sexual.
It's
One
French.
minute has to be
Yeah,
sexual.
because
It's-
they've been using
the
that
word is
incorrectly in
French.
battle rap. The
Wow.
The
whole
word is
time.
French, and French have been poetically disgusting since the existence of, I guess, Western civilization.
Paulie
French are
Buffon
nasty.
say he hon hon.
Je parle un peu.
And once Jay-Z say something, everybody run with it.
Exactly.
I need some French.
We gonna run with what Jay said.
I need some French.
Coke is still my sponsor.
Say it again.
Oh shit, what's up?
Oh, say it again one more time.
Bonjour.
Yeah.
Bonjour.
Oh,
C'est magnifique.
that's level 1. So what else you got for us tonight?
All right.
Yo, be the angry person in the comments, man.
No, I don't. I have enough of them. I get tired of them niggas. Them niggas be ruining my
We're
day.
going straight mad rapper. Yo, it's funny because I texted you.
I'll tell you why I'm mad, son.
I texted you because my first comment, and then I look underneath, and Buddy is going back and forth with this
Yo.
young lady about everything and talking about family life and everything. I was like, bro, I didn't mean to start that fire. I thought we were having a hip hop
You can't.
conversation.
You gotta start blocking them niggas though.
On what?
Because them
Under
niggas
what?
muddy up
Which
the
one?
comment section.
From
Once
today?
they start talking
Nah, this was-
disrespectful and violating, they gotta go.
But you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Instagram automatically hides the messed up comments.
No,
and
I be seeing
I
that
be
shit.
hitting unhide
Stop doing that.
because the algorithm sees more interaction and goes, "Oh, we gonna promote them more. We gonna make people see them."
Yeah, but
more.
I don't like that. Some energy is not good. Like you gotta watch the documentary of like what's it called? Social
Network.
No, social network is the Facebook shit. Right?
That's the movie. I
No.
know which one you're talking about.
Social, yeah.
I don't think I've
You-
seen
that
it.
shit
but I
is
know
that
what
shit
you're
is
talking
deep because the guy who was running it was running the guy who created like the algorithm for Instagram, I think it was. He was working for Wikipedia, and you know at one point Wikipedia you could say whatever, you could like add shit.
Yep.
And he's like, yo, that shit became like muddy waters. He said tore that shit apart. He was warning them, like, yo, stop letting people just say whatever on here. It fucks up the experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If people come see and it's negative energy. I block all negative energy.
Particularly if it's not even related to
If
what
it's
we
not even,
discussing.
you just thought, like, if we're arguing about hip hop, that's healthy. Once you be like, man, yo, fuck you, go eat a dick, your mother.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, hold on, you gotta go, my man. Yeah, like you talking about, yo, are you retarded, you fucking idiot? Go play with your kids. I went on your page and you like, yo, how you know nigga got kids? You going crazy?
Like, what are you doing
Oh,
with all of this time?
I'm not gonna
Mike?
lie. Maybe I'm messed up, but I be laughing. I be
Because
like, bitch ass nigga.
Because this nigga don't like too short.
That doesn't affect me at all.
Like,
But I've
nah, I
been
don't
seeing
like
it
that
since grind time, so that's probably why I don't care. Well, you've been seeing it for a while too.
I don't like that, and I never liked it. I block. My block list is insane.
Matumbo.
Oh my god, I'm gonna give y'all a peek at
Sergi
it. Y'all
Blocker.
continue.
So then let me ask this.
Yeah.
As we analyzing this, what matters more? Content, swag.
Content or
Content.
swag.
I don't know
Yeah.
what you mean by that.
I mean,
Content
He's as a rapper.
or
As a
swag.
delivery
as
of
an
it?
MC.
today.
No, to you. I don't care about them.
Oh, well then,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm talking to people who do this. I'm not talking about people who just sitting around watching for you. What?
I mean, I come from that era. Sometimes I would hear the artist's lyrics before I even know what he looked like. You know what I'm saying?
And let me and
Bugged
I
out.
guess I should clarify. I do mean delivery.
Yeah.
You know, delivery
Alright.
and cadence.
Because you can
I'ma
say
keep
it
it
in
a
a
buck.
slick manner and make it sound dope. That's what X specialized in.
No, I know.
And
I
he's
know.
one of the reasons for that question.
You know, no, I know who's the number one person for
I'm gonna
this
fuck
question.
you up. I'm gonna fuck you up with this one.
Let's go.
I'm gonna go style over content.
What?
Yeah, listen. I don't give a fuck how deep. Sometimes your shit too deep.
Nah,
It's
I
too
agree.
lyrical, spiritual, miracle. It's
agree.
too much. It's too heavy. It's like, yo, you delivered this so wrong. I could listen to like a nigga like Future, who's like just straight style and slickness. The way he got his, it ain't super crafty and clever with the lyrics, but it feel like something. I'd rather that than listening to a nigga just rap my head off all day with like heavy content. Like, you're gonna drive me crazy.
Check
listening
this
to
out.
shit.
I don't fully believe you, and I'm gonna show you why. Watch this. Nas or Wayne?
But no,
But no.
hold on. You're absolutely. That's the wildest comparison you ever
Why?
threw out there. Cause Nas is style, nigga. Nas is slick. Nas is a master lyricist with the illest style.
But check this out, right?
So you compare him to
take-
Wayne. Where are we comparing them?
Listen,
Style?
if you take away 50% of Nas's style with that message, I feel like he could still be Nas. If you take away,
you're wrong. Absolutely wrong. Anything we don't like from Nas, it's because at some point he was just out of touch with the style. When niggas be like, yo, we don't like that from Nas, it's because it's the style part. He always raps good. He never not raps good.
No, but he's not the most stylish rapper in the history of rap.
Yes, he is, bro. Delivery.
How is Nas more stylish than say Busta Rhymes? Where Busta Rhymes
No, it's
style
animated. That's
carries
different
him.
to animation.
But being animated is a style.
It is a
Teacher,
style,
right?
but being
Yeah.
being subtly slick is a style also.
I mean,
That's a style, nigga.
who do I want to dress like?
Who would you dress like, Busta Rhymes or Nas?
Well, Nas, because Busta Rhymes be wearing zebra
Right,
vest
right.
with
I'm
the
def-
shirt.
I'm definitely not.
Minimalism is a style, right?
I would agree. Yes,
Yeah.
it is indeed a style.
Okay. But who has more style, would you say?
Nas, man.
So Nas has the most style of any rapper.
No, I'm not.
Give me like two rappers with
I'm
more
gonna give.
style than
I'm
Nas.
gonna give some rappers some ill style. That nigga Raekwon is slick. That nigga got style, son.
I would say Ghostface.
Yeah,
for
Ghostface
Raekwon.
is slick.
I like
See, you're
Ghostface.
thinking loud. I think you're thinking loud and animated.
what
That's not
about Cam
necessarily.
and
That's
Mace?
a style.
They got
Cam got
style.
flavor, too.
They got style. Jay got style. Jay on the mic has style, my nigga.
Yeah.
Might not be like how he
No, I
dressed
agree.
or whatever, but the way he delivered his shit. I was listening to some R&B shit the other day, and he was saying he was on like a female. I can't remember what it was, but he like, yo,
Heartbreaker?
nah, it wasn't hot. He bodied
He a part
Heartbreaker.
of the mix,
But he,
yo.
now he
On a
on some
piece
girl
of
joint. He
cake,
like,
yo.
yo,
Scribble down
he
there.
said, yo,
Cake shit.
it's alright. He said, you think I ain't see the lame sneaking through the back door? It's alright. He could come here for real. It's alright.
The coldest for
You
him.
can come
just-
here. I don't keep my ones here. It's unlikely that you see wifey, but if you slip up and hit her, fuck it. We can split up. Like, nigga, that's slick. Like,
Yeah,
the way he
what?
talking is like, yo.
I'm gonna give him credit because that makes me think about that's high school, making me chase you around for
Yeah,
months,
have-
having an affair,
act
act like an adult for
That's
once.
so
Bro, the
hard.
nigga said high school crossover, wave the way pick.
Yeah, what?
That's crazy.
Yo, nah, he's crazy.
That's crazy.
He got style. Jay got style, right? But it's subtle. It's not loud. It's not obnoxious.
Okay.
And Jay style might outweigh his lyrics. Cause he's not
So
like
we
a
gon-
Pharaoh Munch.
So are we ready to talk about that? Because
Yeah,
here's
go
the
ahead,
thing.
go ahead.
No,
Thank you.
because I've been thinking about this lately, right? I think part of it started when he dropped 444, right? And everybody was heralding this grown man, mature album. And I'm like, but I feel like Nas gave us that from the very beginning, right? But then I started really looking, and Jay, he's incredibly lyrical. He's very sneaky.
Oh, yeah.
He slipped a lot of bullshit past us too. Like
Oh.
we consumed a lot of surface level bullshit. Like it was clever.
It was clever.
And it was put together to the style, right? It was put together so incredibly well, right?
Okay.
But honestly, I go back and some of these joints and some of the jewels I thought I was getting, some of the gems I thought was being dropped, it's fool's gold. It's gumball.
Yeah, give me an example.
It's the claw.
I know June what it is.
Shit. All right, so I'm making short-term goal when the weather folds. Just put away the leather and put ice on the gold. Right. Very dope line about absolutely fucking nothing.
Repeat it one more time. Slow it down.
I'm making short-term goals when the weather folds. So put away the leathers and put ice on the gold. Chili with enough bail money to free a Big Willie. High stakes, I got more stakes than Philly. It's dope. And it's about
It ain't heavy. It ain't really heavy.
absolutely
I mean, but
nothing.
that's when he was in his.
y'all
I know.
violated Jay.
All he's saying is, I got some short-term goals because it's about to get hot.
I mean, the thing is,
Right.
he's still
He's saying it in a slick way, like just.
But he ain't saying,
Right.
he ain't give you nothing. Like, what is the goal? What's going on? What's happening?
So
He gave you prophecy on his first joint.
I'm just acknowledging that in that sense, maybe the style gave us
That's
more,
funny.
and the style gave us so much,
Right, like it's
that
not-
we just presumed
it's not heavy.
what the
Right,
content
right.
was.
So I got a question. What
Yeah.
do you think about Lil Wayne, then?
Hold up, real quick. But he had some heavy shit on that
He
album.
did also have some
About
heavy
to say, he
shit
got
now.
some
If
crazy.
everybody
He
in
did.
your clique is rich, your clique is rugged.
Nobody will fall because everyone will be
be
each other's crushes. Yes.
Come on.
Y'all want to just
Damn, I
gotta
just
get-
shot my nigga and ran off into the night like it was
not
not
my
my
nigga.
nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Talking about his brother. Crazy.
I do want to talk about Wayne for a second, right?
yeah.
Because he's somebody we don't talk about often on the pod, but I noticed the reaction we got when it came to talking about him in our top 50 MCs. So I think I'm going to make an awkward comparison, but follow
Alright.
me. So when people say Andre 3000 doesn't have a solo album, right?
Which is a waste of time. But go ahead.
So my response is always, well, Andre is an exception.
Yes,
He's so
he is the
incredible
exception.
that he can be the one person out of 50 that we make an exception for, right?
Yeah.
And so I've heard people argue that Wayne doesn't have that much depth, but he has a lot of
He has volume.
wordy gymnastics.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And he's one of the only people, especially during his prime, at that time from his region, doing it on that level. So what do you have to say about it's like a gymnast doing a whole bunch of backflips, but if you're an Olympic judge, you're gonna know that technically maybe they didn't land in a certain way that the gymnast community will respect, but it looks incredible. So what do you
Yet we also have degree of difficulty, right? And if we start talking about Wayne when he's in his bag, that degree of difficulty, running these syllable pairs over and over again for 8 to 12 bar run, and we talking about multiple syllables per line, that's a degree of difficulty that a lot of folks can't get. Now, 3 stacks. 3 stacks is if ODB were a lyricist, follow me. Because ODB is an anomaly. He has a style that nobody can achieve. Nobody can do ODB, right? He's beyond compare. I would suggest that as it relates to MCing, Stacks is beyond compare. He has a lane that folks might get close to, right? Kanye, when his ghostwriters are getting them together on certain projects, he might get close to, right? But that's a style
That's a
that
fact, though.
you can't get, like you can't do it, and it's not like Twister, because Twister raps so fast that you don't have the physical ability to do it.
Right. You
Nobody's
could try it.
Nobody's been able to do what Drake does. So
Right.
that's why I find him to be the anomaly, and he stands outside of whether or not he had a solo album.
Yeah,
Wayne.
plus, I feel like
Okay.
with Drake also, I feel like he's in a group.
Yes.
Why y'all keep trying to make him a solo artist?
And
He's
an
in a group
amazing
called
group.
Outkast. It's a great group. They gave you great music. They gave you classic albums. And it's like, no, you have to leave your group and go do a solo album before we say you're the best. Like,
Right.
you can hear how many examples. I had to say that earlier about Biggie. Like, I actually replied to somebody today because they're like, yo, I'm tired of seeing Biggie at the top with only 2 albums. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, it's 2 complete albums together. You get 40 songs. 40 examples of why this man is the best.
Right.
How many examples do you need?
Then
120
they
verses.
said that Biggie got more verses than Andre 3000 does.
Yeah,
they
Facts put
say
that
that.
up, right? Mickey Facts put that up.
Right.
didn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah,
They said Kendrick Lamar ain't
Facts,
put
what's
in
up?
enough work to get mentioned in the 50.
That's
Right.
crazy.
No,
so
he got mentioned earlier
the
today, and we had
comment
to
where dude
remind
was
somebody
paper
it's been 15
thin.
years.
I had wrote the bro like he was like, yo, Kendrick catalog is super thin or whatever, and I'm like, that's crazy because he got at least 6-7 albums that you could bring up, and they're all quality.
He's been out
Like,
for
you know what I'm
15
saying?
years.
15 years.
I
Probably
think
more at this point.
I think because we kind of like grew up with Kendrick and he's around our age group, it seems like he's not in that same rarefied air as the mystical people we grew up
Right.
listening to. Not
And-
the
no, it's 'cause-
not the mystical people.
No, it's
but the
because
mystical
it's
people,
because
you know what
time
I mean?
has been flying because people been doing this all day.
Absolutely.
So with this all day, you don't realize 15 years that went by.
And
We
those
burnt
are
ourselves out, man.
And
So-
not only that, he just really got super duper in front of the people's eyes, so they feel like he's new.
No.
Nah,
That's
a narrative
Bro,
too.
no, it's not
That's a
even.
narrative.
It's not even. It can't even be a
Bro.
narrative at this point.
Bro.
He just got in front of the people that's been doing this. That's all it's been. This has been what's happening. So if you've been
He
doing
got-
this, you
he
missed
got-
this.
he got
Look,
pushed to number one on the
Pay attention to what
algorithm.
I'm saying. If you've been doing this all day, you missed the world tour. You missed the millions of records.
This is
and stuff.
your TV.
Bro, but you can't say somebody just got popping if they've been selling out
I didn't
stadiums.
say just got popping.
So what are you saying?
I said in front of the people's eyes, like as big as he is right
What
now. You
people?
can't
But he
miss
was
him.
winning
That's what I'm
Grammys
saying.
before
What
the beef.
people?
Now I will say this.
Everybody.
I think PC.
Well, you can't say everybody
I get
is
you
a
saying
Grammy
on a national,
award-winning
nationwide,
artist
like household name.
with #1 records.
No, I will say this. I will say this though. I think PC has a point. Let me know if this is what you're trying to say. There's a difference between being popular or being popular in the States. You know what I'm saying? To where people know you, and then there's a difference between having a boom in front of an international audience to where 72-year-old Ethel in the nursing home will be like, "Oh, I saw that guy."
Kendrick Lamar.
So what I'm saying, he's more visible now than he's ever been, even though he was a huge artist before.
Yeah.
So you're
because-
saying he has Snoop Dogg level visibility now in ways
For-
that he
for
didn't
now.
necessarily
For now,
have
Correct.
I'd say.
before then.
Correct.
He was heralded, he was regarded, he won a Pulitzer. That's one thing, right?
Yeah.
But there was a moment when
Pulitzer
there was a moment
Back
when
in like
Yeah.
10 years ago.
right.
Like for Doom, for instance. Every time they like, yo, don't nobody know this nigga. It'd be a Doom fan. I'd be like, how nobody don't know this nigga
No.
when he got this,
But this
that, and
nigga,
the
I
third.
can understand you not knowing Doom. He was
Right,
more
'cause
underground.
he wasn't in the
Which is why
masses.
somebody was selling millions of records. He was selling
Right.
millions of records.
Everybody act like Doom done sold like
no, but that's that's just cult Doom followers.
But there's a difference
But it's
between-
not
It's
the
just
same.
that Doom been out since the 80s.
Right.
So people expect you to know who Doom is. You know what I'm
Right,
saying, or
but
whatever.
it's a difference. It's like a nigga saying, "Yo," it's like a nigga saying, "Yo, you ain't see Carlito's way."
Type shit.
Like it's a cult thing. You supposed to see Carlito's way.
Type shit.
Versus
That's perfect.
like,
That's perfect.
yeah. Versus like, nigga, you ain't see
the wood.
Friday. You ain't see Friday.
The wood is the Carlitos.
You see the
The
wood.
wood is like Carlito's.
Yo, so Anon.
Yeah, Wayne.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Wayne, all right, here's the thing. It's not that every bit of hip hop is going to move your spirit and you're going to learn from it, right? But Wayne does have pathos. Pathos that's bringing up emotion. Wayne knows how to drum emotions even with the songs that he's hitting you with. So although it's not, even though it's not digging so much below the surface that your life is changing, when it moves, it moves. The lyrics move you. Almost just the cadence of the lyrics move you along themselves. I think he has some power with that. I think also in addition to that, right, is that boy be rapping. And be rapping good. And be rapping good from the fundamentals of what hip hop is, but the cleverness that we need brings in New Orleans, is absolutely disrespectful when he wants to, gets introspective when he wants to. Wayne keeps you on your feet. So I wouldn't compare Wayne to Nas, for example, right? Because Nas is a full meal, right? So Nas is going out, you got a 5-star meal, you got some great wine, right? And you sitting down, right? Wayne is, I don't know if this comparison is gonna work, but just run with me. Wayne is Cheesecake Factory in a sense, right? Like, it's good food. You can get a good cocktail. You can get some strawberry lemonade, popcorn, shrimp, right? It's still very incredible. Now, if you were to decide that you wanted to compare, then yes, Ruth's Chris or
I would say Wayne is more like Toast or Lennox. You gonna have a good time. The food gonna be good. It's lit. So you gonna remember you in there.
I can rock with that.
The bitches is dancing.
I can rock with that comparison. I can rock with that.
You gonna leave drunk. You had a great time. So you don't remember much of that happened, but you know you had a good time.
And you going back to do it again.
And you going back.
So Anon, right? So I want you to lead us out with just one major question. Drop a bomb on us real quick.
We ready?
Let's do it.
We got to end this off incredible.
All right, this is gonna be heavy. We ready for it?
We are.
Yeah, don't say heavy. Rain gonna be over there doing calculate. I can see the algebra flying by his head right now. He's in the Da Vinci
You gotta
Code.
get ready. You gotta stay
Hip-hop
ready.
Da Vinci
So you
Code
gotta
right
get
there.
ready.
So what keeps Eminem from being heralded wildly by the black community? Is there a possibility for him to ever ascend to the top of the list? And again, I'm not talking about purists like folks who break down Doom and know everything that Doom's done, Not talking about people who listen to Black Alicious and know Black Alicious.
Right.
I'm not talking about people from Detroit. I'm just saying, like, as a general collective of people, we accept, we appreciate Eminem, right? But he's always
I think that's
stepchild.
only as of late, like since like the past probably about 3-4 years, I would say. I've been seeing online people trying to discredit him, but prior to, like when we were growing up, they were acting like
He's God.
Jay couldn't do nothing with him. Anybody he touched on the track with, they act like he was smoking them niggas every time.
So respectfully, let me ask you this question then. Would you dare put him in number one?
No.
Okay.
But only because
I got this question.
And so and so even if we take this, I guess what I'm trying to do theoretically, right, is we riding with anybody that put him at number one? Or does somebody got to deal with being crucified if they decide they're going to put him at number one?
Well, they would get smoked if they put him at number one.
And so I'm trying to get to why is that the case?
Number one forever.
I was about to say, like, I wouldn't be mad
And
at
I'm
somebody.
not mad at him being in number
I would
one.
understand why. I mean, because he had his reign. You know what I'm saying? He had his time where he was undoubtedly the best rapper alive. So if you grew up in that time period, right, where he was, then why is that so far-fetched to even think about? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like what alienates him at the end of the day is his subject matter. You know what I'm saying? Compared to anything else, it's not him being a rapper. It's him. You know what I'm saying?
Let's dance. This is
Hold
what I
on,
was going.
before you go off, can I say one thing?
People can't relate.
Because you're going to go off. You're going to end the pod.
Yeah, he's
listen,
gonna wild apart.
whenever you're done.
I'm riding with
no,
bro.
listen, whenever
Joe
you're
just-
done, say don't quote me. Because I know where you about to go.
I'm not gonna go that crazy that you made. I'm gonna let you end it. I'm gonna say my part.
Go ahead.
The problem is him being white has become us not ranking him at number one, and him being white has become the new cop out. It has nothing to do with him being white. It has everything to do with him being too playful. Which is why Redman is not in number one, which is why Busta's not number one, which is not why M is not number one. It's not that these guys are not great lyricists. It's just that at some point, while our experience is getting realer, they're not narrating it. And that's what makes you the greatest MC. That's why people won't argue Jay. They won't argue Nas. They won't argue X. They won't argue Scarface. But these guys are not narrating our experience properly. And it's nothing to do with the raps. It has nothing to do with you being black or white. It has everything to do with the narration of our struggle.
I received that, and I'm gonna be real honest. I was hoping to lob that. I want, because I feel like we haven't actually had a full-fledged conversation about it. Like
Right.
the conversation, what you say, the cop out. That's what happens, right? It's
Right.
like white boy can't do this, and so then we haven't even started analyzing the lyrics. And since we haven't started analyzing the lyrics, then we haven't analyzed the playfulness. Because one of the things that I think about is the fact that, as I said earlier, I personally can't go back to Marshall Mathers, Eminem. Like, I can listen to it is what I'm saying. But I can't go back and be who I was or feel what I was when that comes out.
You just remember you were entertained.
Because I'm not angry, right?
Right.
I was broken, angry, young, and I hated the world. So if I hate the world like a white boy, I hate the world like a white boy, what have you, right? But I couldn't go back to that. And I think, when you say that playfulness, I combine the two of those things, right? That exact same thing. I can't necessarily go into that to make you number one because it doesn't narrate my life. It doesn't soundtrack where I'm going, or it may have been where I've been, but not where I'm going.
Ludacris also goes
I
in
would
that
definitely agree.
category. But
Right.
these
Please
are
don't shoot
all
me,
guys
Atlanta.
we know are incredible, though, right? We know these
But
guys.
every now
And then to
this bum on
Eminem's
your
credit,
lips.
I feel like him himself in this point of his
Every now
life,
and what?
Every
he
now
don't feel that
and
way.
what?
Like how you just said, like you can't relate, like you can't put yourself in that spot that he was. I feel like he feel the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I also think
Right, he
that's-
can't get there.
He can't get there.
I also
I was,
think
I was,
that's-
I was listening to Bitch Please too on the way over here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really want to fuck with me.
Right.
And he's on there
Oh,
dropping
no,
F
big slim
bombs.
dog.
Yes.
Kind of crazy shit. But then now, like, his daughter, like, you know what I'm saying, messes with like some, you know what I mean,
Right.
that community, and like he's like a supportive to that now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's funny how life flips and how you could just still mature. So I get what you're saying when you can't go back and feel that energy and stuff like that. But I mean, you just gotta enjoy it for what it was. For the
And I
time
still
period.
do.
It
Absolutely.
don't take
I
away
still
from
do.
it. Don't take away from his skill
At all.
Right.
I think all those guys are dope.
I also wonder, right? Because the thing is, sometimes I wonder, where does he go? Like, what does an Eminem in his second act, like Nas in that run a few years ago? What does Eminem's second act look like? Where it's like, here I am, I'm evolved, I am lyrical, and now I'm going to give you some of that seriousness.
And that's M's problem. He turned into like, look at me, I'm lyrical. Look at me, I can rap. Look at me, I can
Right.
bend syllables and I can do this and all
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? And it lost a certain demographic that he had.
Right, and I think Eminem's biggest issue now is, I don't know, man. I don't know him personally, but it just doesn't sound like he's living. He needs to go outside and get some experiences.
He's scared, man.
Yeah, I mean, I
He's
get it.
scared.
Like, where can he go?
It's
You know what I'm
Zanny
saying?
out there. It's
Right.
But
lean out there.
Right, it's all type of shit out there, right?
You know what? That makes perfect sense. I could picture Eminem just being like up in some big ass crib all day,
By
every day.
himself.
In the
By
mountains.
himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, you know he said he went on Tinder. No, I'm dead serious. He said he met a joint on Tinder because he was like, I don't leave the house,
Right.
and he's like, that ended up bad.
That sounds
Obviously.
Like,
right.
bro could be like Bruce Wayne. He fighting crime at night. You don't even know. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
it's crazy.
But he in the crib.
But when
all
we
day.
listen to Jay, right, and we listen to Jay, we hear like him getting married, his kids,
Right,
him
we-
being
we
a
know what he
father.
going through.
We know,
transition.
even like listening to Nas' latest project, and he's talking about like, yo, I don't like he's no longer married, right?
Right.
And he's talking about he got one girl coming through the front, one leaving out the back. Why I
And
got to lie
tired.
for? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right,
I'm at the NBA game. I'm trying not to slip too close. I don't like being on the floor seats because I might have messed with one of these niggas' girls. I leave in the third quarter. Like, he's giving you a life story. What are you doing?
Right.
Like, I want to kind of know what Eminem is doing.
His last album, he was just rapping to like his daughter about like, you know, when I'm gone type shit. Like, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like whatever. Like talking to her like in the future self kind of
Right.
thing. So it was dope.
That's
But-
With the
track
bulk
niggas
of the
cried
album.
on.
yeah,
But-
it's called Temporary.
But the bulk of the album is
Yeah, him going back to
being nutty.
To being
Yeah.
nutty. Yeah.
So let me
Fire album though, by the way. Yeah.
let me say this. Eminem fans, y'all need to be more open-minded and patient. The thing is that a lot of people are scared to speak about Eminem because you guys jump in the comments and harass them because you don't understand how somebody wouldn't have him at number one. You have to understand that from an inner city black perspective, after Eminem's show, he didn't necessarily speak directly to half of the audience that championed him at first. So if you a white dude, you dealt with drug issues, you dealt with issues with family members or whatever, and it's not necessarily spoken about in the same way an inner city minority can relate with, you might lose their ears. Now, black people, on the other hand, when we sit down and talk about Eminem, and I'm only talking about the ones that discredit Eminem. One, he has one of the most incredible runs ever, even if you didn't like some of his latter albums. Two, the man might be the most technically masterful MC of all time. You know what I'm saying? Earlier we were talking about Rap God, and I was saying how at first I didn't give it a chance. Going back and listening, I was like, this is incredible. I just have to be in the mood to listen to this and take in exactly what he's saying. So the whole reason why we have this podcast, why we have this panel, is to open up discussion about things that might be taboo or things that you might not want to hear from somebody else. But I feel like when we break it down and articulate it, you guys at home need to have the patience to understand what we're saying. And before you get in the comments and type, think about perspective. But don't quote me.